Game number 1, everybody! Between the Fedoras and Trust Issues. Division 1. Heroes Launch Division 1 and we are in Volskaya Foundry. So we are again at the upper echelon of Heroes Launch as Division 6... Division S hasn't started yet. It's going to start, I think, in the qualification is going to start in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, we're going to start into the first season, which is going to be the Semi-Pro League that is being built by Heroes Launch right now, Division S. But the Fedoras and Trust Issues are currently at the top tier here with Division 1. So we're going to see a little bit more coordination between the teams than we have seen in the past in our division, or our adventures in Division 7 and Division 6. The game starts off with immediate bans on the front line again, going straight into bans on GARROSH and Diablo, so both of the main tanks already gone, still leaving Mal'Ganis open here. Offlane is going to be interesting again. We've been talking a lot about offlane recently, especially since the lower leagues have some very interesting preferences for that. But at least in these games here, I would expect more meta picks to be taken once again. Medivh banned out, Genji is still open as well, next to Mal'Ganis, so two heroes that we could definitely see banned out, depending on what they are worried about the most. Especially that Genji is, of course, always a little bit of a pesky fella that can ruin a team's day. And I wouldn't put it past them at all to run something like Genji if it doesn't get banned. So, are the Trust Issues the Trust... I am having problem with speech today. It's actually frustrating. Trust Issues. Are they going to ban him out? Nope. It's Ophia instead. Fair enough. That leaves Mal'Ganis and Genji open. Now, Mal'Ganis doesn't necessarily see as much play here all the way up at the top as it does in the lower ranks. But he is still a hero that can be extremely annoying to play against with all the self-sustain that he has if you do not stack CCs against him and are able to burst him down. And that's, of course, where coordination comes into play. TYRANDE, of course, still an absolutely amazing pick because even with GARROSH and Diablo out, you have a lot where you can stack it on. White male Mal'Ganis being picked, and TYRANDE could be played with a Meridian here. Could be played with a variety of heroes that all would allow her to follow up on an initial stun. We still could see even an Anubarak play if you want to go for a deep dive and try and get a quick kill in. Then TYRANDE would already help out with the Hunter's Mark, but of course you would also need some burst damage behind it. Could be a Jaina if you're going down that path. We've seen some off-lane variant shenanigans in the past too, with a quick taunt into a quick stun. And it's a Medivh! Medivh and Reyna is right away being picked here for them. Alright. Portal in, portal out. Stitch is banned out, so there's no kidnap combo. No Gorge and then running away into a portal and trying to isolate the target completely. Not really a bad choice to ban out Stitches, to be honest, especially if you consider that TYRANDE is already in the party. So you can have a hook into a stun, into a blow-up attempt, and if Medivh is in the mix, you can even build upon that, obviously, once that you have Gorge as your talent. So it's definitely something that you can be afraid of. In terms of bans for our Fedoras, it's Meridian that gets banned out. So they expect Mal'Ganis to be on the side lane, and they themselves seem to have absolutely no plan to go into Meridian. It's actually a bit surprising that they ban out another tank, because now we have the bans, the picks coming in for Trust Issues. Which means that they could pick another main tank away, and then the Fedoras are just sitting there. There's an Alarak, alright, even more aggression, a Thrall. Mal'Ganis finds himself in a main tank position. And what are the Fedoras going to do? I would honestly assume that an Anubarak is likely at this point, because if you think Mal'Ganis is an offlaner, then the go-to hero that would still be up is Johanna. And if you are okay giving Johanna up, then you are very likely heading into anything that can use that stun setup. And that might be, again, an Anubarak for the dive, if you feel you can get that quick kill. But against Alarak, that's a risk. Against Alarak, Thrall is a huge risk. Johanna and Thrall, woo. Alright. Not going even into an additional side laner. Well, I guess Arthas is the side laner, but it's a very tanky one at that, right? So Johanna, Arthas, huge presence at the front, difficult to kill. Medivh can portal Arthas into the opponent's backline too, and that mitigates some of the problems that Arthas has, which is mobility. So, nice setup here for the Fedoras. An interesting one too. And Trust Issues, last pick, Nazeebo. Trying to get that late game damage. Fair enough, boys. Let's head into game number 1, Volskaya Foundry. Don, our Fedoras, goes up against Trust Issues in our Division 1 game at Heroes Launch here. Let's get it going. Game on. Fedoras against Trust Issues. Rooney on Reyna for the blue team. The bread bucket on Arthas. Mist on Johanna. Arunas on Medivh. And Mango on TYRANDE. They nearly have an entire meal there. You have a bread bucket. You have some mango. This is actually not too bad. Sounds pretty good. To the right side, the Trust Issues with Nerf on Thrall. We have Royal Foil on Zibo, going into the Spider build here. Sonic Gold on Mal'Ganis, Light on White Mane, and the Red Dragon on Alarak. Now, Alarak can definitely be the problem here in this game for the blue team if he gets good combos off. In terms of talents on our Division 1 team, we actually have pretty much what you would expect. Echo of Elements on level 1 for Thrall. We're seeing also normal stacking for Alarak. We have Ace in the Hole. Have at the same time the Howling Blast quest on level 1 for Arthas. So yeah. Johanna not going into the self-sustain, but instead going into her trades, backing a little bit into the Iron Skin instead. Lockdown already against Royal Foil as the flank comes in from the side. As we said before, Arunas is going to play a huge role here with his portals, trying to set especially Arthas up to go into that backline. And we have quite a little bit of setup. I mean, if you're looking at potential kills or kill combos that could come out, it's Arthas with the Howling Blast straight into the Lunar Flare plus Hunter's Mark from TYRANDE, and then trying to get the damage in. Yeah, decent damage here already, as we're seeing. But this is definitely, this can be a pretty scary composition around that Medivh that we're having here. It's going to be tough to break that front line, but at the same time, late game Nezebo is of course always going to be an issue. So that's the next thing to really be concerned about here. The bottom lane, that's where we're seeing Arthas and that guy, Arthas and Thrall. There we go. I didn't have enough coffee today, like, this is going to be a slow one. Yeah, but those two, of course, facing off against each other. And Arthas is currently just trying to do as much as he can to make sure that he's being zoned out and can't really get his stacking process up. Like, the big thing for Thrall right now is to try and get the Echo of Elements stacked. And ideally you want to do that so that you have it ready for the first objective, so that he can poke a lot harder against your opponent's heroes. And that's what Arthas is currently trying to prevent. He's trying to first of all dominate the lane, but at the same time also make sure that Thrall doesn't get the stacks together. And so far he's doing well. The one thing that you have to be aware of, though, is that there could be a rotation coming your way. And this is another thing. This is actually something I like really a lot from Trust Issues. They went for their own camp a little bit early and then rotated straight in just as their opponent moves to their own turret camp. So that was a very cool rotation, very quick. They realized that their opponents were doing the camp to the bottom left, and so they just used that small time frame that they had to get the advantage when it comes to the first objective, just running with an item advantage. Now looking at the stacks here, we're currently having only 8 stacks for Thrall. Definitely not where he wants to be with this. So Arthas is doing fairly well here. He's still trying to get his own stacks together on his level 4. Hits another one. Well done, but he already accomplished the main goal, making sure that Thrall cannot get his Echo of Elements completed by the time that the first objective spawns. So that's definitely a good one. I mean, Thrall is going to get a little bit more out of this. Doesn't actually play it perfectly here either. Could have tried and get a bit more out of that, but still working out for now. Johanna, by the way, on level 4 with the Eternal Retaliation, so going for the cooldown reduction, trying to hit that, trying to be a little bit more effective, first of all in the wave play department, but then also when it comes to the team fight, trying to get a few more of those condemns out. And that being said, we have the first one already about to be activated by the blue team, forcing Mal'Ganis off, and now trying to move into the middle. Another one that of course works on his quest talent is Arunas. On his Medivh, needs to be very careful that he doesn't run into that bad boy, because Alarak with a good combo and a nice silence can have the perfect setup for Jaina. And, sorry, White Mane is sitting on her snowflake, and for a second I'm thinking it's Jaina. It's just like, wait a second, I didn't see Jaina being drafted, like what's going on here? Yeah, but no matter who for, once that you have Nezebo getting the damage out, for example, or you have a Thrall maybe later on with a Frost Wolf or even Sundering coming in, if you get surprised by a combo from Alarak, that setup is going to be enough to take you down. For the time being, they're taking back the control over the checkpoint, Trust Issues that is, because Reyna is still pushing out the top lane wave, and we're having at the bottom still that 1 versus 1 happening here. But eventually, there's a very good chance that we're going to see them move back in. Now keep those camps in mind, because they will come back, and then there's another chance to grab maybe the additional turret. Howling Blast doesn't connect this time. They're trying to at least get some damage in against Mal'Ganis. There's the quest talent completed now for Thrall, so he finally gets it and is now immediately moving back into the battle. One turret already on the ground as the fight starts up, and here comes the portal in the back. Ironskin used to bring Johanna back to safety, but the Bread Bucket is in trouble, and there's the connect with the Wolf, but good reaction from TYRANDE, stunning out the follow-up. Nearly a kill from Alarak. Arunas was ready though. Had the shield in play as well. Celestial Attunement is definitely going to help out with a lot of this. Intercession came in on 7 for Whitemane, so she has at least one cleanse available for herself now too. But still, the fight is raging on, and so far both of the teams fairly, well, pretty much at the same amount of progress. But of course, if the blue team isn't able to reclaim that, then we are going to see the first objective in favor of Trust Issues, and they are looking solidly set on this. Already the completion of the quest for Arunas. Look at that Medivh God right there. Safe for now, but Mist is low on the Johanna. So is Mal'Ganis though, and Thrall is not low. Thrall is dead. Penetrating round to the face, he's down, and Whitemane is also biting the dust as the triple kill comes in. Everybody dead and dying on the red team. Everybody low for the blue team, but no kill secured. Uh-oh. All of a sudden, we're having another one against Nazeebo, and it's a full team wipe. And if it wasn't already bad enough, it's also a couple of staggered deaths coming in there too. Very, very impressive coordination that we just saw from the blue team. Especially the kill against Thrall. At that point, Reyna just realized immediately, hey, I got this guy. Penetrating round to the face, right between the eyes. Down he goes, and then they turn it around. A good stun coming in again from TYRANDE. Several already hitting. And they have now the very, very early level 10. They have the Protector, go through the wall, move to the top, try and take down the Fountain to prepare for the second objective. Very, very impressive first fight. 5 kills against 0, and that was well done. Good reaction from Arunas again, mitigating a lot of the potential damage against Reyna, as we're seeing good old Alarak coming in, but down to the bottom of the map. So that's Bread Bucket zoning this out too. Now keep those heroic abilities in mind, they are still ready. And Reyna actually made it into the middle, trying to take another Fountain down. I like this. Trying to just simply go on the Fountain. They have vision of everybody at the top. They have vision of Thrall at the bottom, so he knows nobody's coming, nobody's missing. I can take this easily. And the rotation is there, but it's a little bit too late. But it might actually hit Arthas, because he went a little bit too far in. Then again, you have that Medivh right next to you. And Arunas is just sitting there and saying like, dude, I gotcha. Don't worry. I'll portal you out. I'll give you a shield. Like, they're not going to get you here. Very well done so far. Talents, 5 stacks already on the level 4 for TYRANDE. Again, hitting a lot in the last fight. Now, Nazeebo is nearly done with his own quest, and we're also seeing Arthur starting to get a lot closer to the completion of his level 4 quest talent. So once that he gets the Frozen Wastes, then he just gets the additional slow in there. So lasts quite a bit longer, allows especially Reyna, of course, to capitalize on it with the damage. You have the Frost Presence with 14 stacks already as it stands. That's going to be pretty awesome for them. So with all the slows coming in, Reyna is going to reign supreme here. I mean, right now, it's really Arunas, and he's been playing great with his Medivh that is rocking the show. But you can still see 16k for Reyna. And the more slows Arthas gets out in these fights, the more fun Reyna is going to have with the damage output. There are still quite a few arguments to be made for the red team, though. So Trust Issues isn't quite out of this just yet. They went for... well, they went for Earthquake, and we're actually also seeing them with Gary. So they go for Gary, the Gargantuan, trying to bring him in. Get the big minion out there. Especially with a good zombie wall, you can do a lot of work with that. But I'm very, very curious to see, especially how the Medivh play is going to fan out. This is a typical game where, depending on the performance of Arunas, and so far it was great, we could definitely see a very snap ban on Medivh in game number 2, depending on how this works out. Because already he has saved multiple allies several times. He has done really well. Instant completion, basically, of his quest. And he is leading the damage chart for his team now, too. I expect at some point that Reyna is going to take over. But still, it's pretty impressive the way that he's currently running it. Talking Reyna, he doesn't really make a commitment on his level 13 yet. He's holding that back a bit. Makes me a bit curious. Not quite sure if he just like missed it and hasn't really taken it. Okay, there we go. Not going for Giddy Up, but instead it's the rallying cry for him. I mean, Giddy Up is oftentimes the choice. Was in HGC the go-to talent to be taken from Reyna. But now we have massive amount of items also on their end. So double turret, they have the biotic emitter on Mango. Medivh doing what Medivh does, being annoying in scouting. And I mean, it's not like they have a shortage on scouting tools. You have the Owl from TYRANDE, you have Medivh there as well. Yeah, Malgan is moving away with the Fell Claws, trying to maneuver himself out of harm's way. Doesn't quite know what's coming there. But now the next objective is going to spawn at the top side. And of course with the first Protector they did what they were supposed to do. They took down the fountain. So now we're seeing our Fedoras with a fountain in their own lane. They still have the entire gate, can move behind it. So it's a nice retreat point for them. And it's also going to help them to have the long-term sustain on the lane because they can just top off their mana and hit point pool. So the rotation and the stage is set for objective number 2, and with the item control and the lane control, it's looking very good for Fedoras to get another Punisher here. It depends on if Trust Issues can get a kill. If Trust Issues can get a kill, that would be great. And of course, late game we're going to monitor Nazebo a little bit more. So far, he doesn't really have the stacks together to really be that big threat. But it's all about that level 20 when that comes in, where they can make the difference. 5 versus 4 right now, so Johanna needs to be a bit careful. Get silenced. There's a combo follow-up in just a second. And the portal is out. Try to move away. Good condemn. Damage comes out. Johanna needs to be careful, but here's the Hyperion. And Arthas is finally back into business. And he's slowing that backline heavily. Earthquake comes in too. But look at Alarak. He's getting Alaraked by Arthas. Well done by Brett Bucket. And he's not stopping there. He's just walking them down one after another. And everybody is isolated here. Thrall is in trouble. Whitemane gets away thanks to the thingy. And the rest of the team is just trying to see if they can take Mal'Ganis down as well. Conveyor belt saving Whitemane, but 2 are already dead. With Alarak and Thrall biting the dust, the top lane is secured. They even go for the quick snipe against the 40, or at least put some additional damage on. And yeah, Donor Fedoras. That is definitely a very different style from what we're seeing usually in the lower leagues, the lower divisions of Heroes launch. Especially the play around TYRANDE and around Medivh is pretty fun to see, to be honest. I mean, TYRANDE has 8 stacks by now. He's really hitting a lot of those stuns when they are needed as a follow-up. Having now the quests completed of Arthas completely. I mean, right now to the top, you see the Punisher coming through. Arthas is actually now at 26,000 on the hero damage. I mean, he went in on the last fight. That backline was completely destroyed by him. And again, you always have that portal available that allows you to portal into the backline if you can't hit the flank. Medivh has been doing exceptionally well throughout this game. There's not a single kill against the Fedoras. And Trust Issues, they are having trouble of really setting a kill up. They have the tools, but it doesn't quite work out for them. You could see it at the top. They get the Night Rush in against Johanna, and then immediately the shield is there from Medivh, saving her, setting the portal up. Johanna didn't even have to use the portal, but it was there. It was there and could follow it if you needed to. Now again, quick attacks coming in. 16 talent for Reyna, bit of an adjustment. Massive move here with a Howling Blast against 3, but the Earthquake follows right away and allows them to move out of harm's way for now. Not all of them though. Nazebo is about to fall, barely gets away as we have Light on his Whitemane, keeping him alive. But the rest of the team is now just getting shreked again. Down they go through the gate here. 16 talents with a big power spike here. And now it's a 5-man push with a Protector. They're going in, taking the wall, trying to see if they can maybe even drop a hero and then push it further. But it's not quite the case here. No penetrating round again on 16, so he's not trying to go for his own sustain. And this is a great talent if you want to have a few more hit points there and a little bit more control over the fight. But instead, we're seeing Reyna making the commitment to give me more. So getting the additional heal and the additional attack range, which is pretty good if you can consistently pick that up during the team fight, because you're staying a little bit farther back. One of the things, of course, that you have to consider here is that we don't have Sundering, so it makes the engage a little bit harder for Trust Issues. If they're in the middle of the fight and they get engaged upon, then Earthquake can give them a lot of value, but they can't really make a quick commitment to, let's say, TYRANDE, Medivh, or Reyna with this. They're not going to set up any of these flanks with Sundering that are oftentimes possible. So it's a little bit more tricky for them to get the engage. But a lot of what they're doing is really looking at level 20, right? So that's a big part of this. Thrall should be able to get out of here. And they will give this up, I want to say. Yeah. Well, will they? Thinking about it. Night Rush comes in. Sonic Gold is there. Condemn. And the immediate poke. It's not going too bad just yet, but yeah, here's now the Thunderstorm also completed, so there's a bit more slow and control over the team fight that we're seeing from him. We're having 165 stacks, by the way, on the Zebo right now, so just to give you guys a little bit more of an idea of how the stacks are going. TYRANDE still consistently hitting those stuns here too, but especially the 165, super important, because once the 20 is hit, the Zebo is going to hit a spike, and a lot of the damage output that we're seeing from the red team, from Trust Issues, is going to hinge on that, right? So it's going to hinge really, really heavily on that particular setup. Medivh, by the way, has taken his place as the top damage dealer in the game again. Pretty impressive play by him, for sure. Not only adding the utility, but adding the damage too, which is really, really solid. But Zebo is sitting at 24,000 damage, and that is not really enough. Like, you want to have him a lot higher in that, and that's when 20 would come into play. If they ever get to that point, because right now, as you can see, it is starting to become a little bit doubtful. They're about to lose the last fort in the mid lane, if there is a commitment. There's level 19 on the horizon for our Fedoras, and once they hit 19, they can start working on those Storm Talons, and they might even be able to get that before the next objective. I want to say it's a little bit of a stretch, but we know how the objective is usually just like drawn out oftentimes. So they can really try and see if they can maybe get close enough to 20 to have a Storm Talon advantage just before the Protector is being grabbed. But they're also not afraid to fight, and I mean, why would they? They haven't lost a hero yet. They've taken 7 kills and they haven't lost a single one. So they also timed the camp at the top side very well with this objective, which means that once again we're going to see them push in with catapults with that camp. And here comes the attempt to get some experience on the map. They're like, okay guys, let's chill. Let's take a few more items. We have some turrets, 2 turrets, 1 healing beacon. Medivh made it into the middle, pushed another lane out. And just look how close they're getting to level 20. Yeah, you're getting the lead, but they could go for 20. And I actually feel they should. I don't really think they need to fight here right now. They could delay it. But they're still very, very confident in their ability to take this. Gary comes out. Gary is there, and here comes the ley line. Ley line is in, the ult from Whiteman on the other hand. But Johanna again gets the shield, moves out. Jimmy is able to move away. Portal immediately on the ground, but Jimmy's in trouble. And he might fall. Just kidding, Medivh is there, but then finally, nope, he still survives. Rooney just walks away from all of it, and they turn it around, they drop Mal'Ganis. They are unkillable. Medivh is there every time they are needed with a portal, with a shield, and now they just move in for a second kill against Thrall. They take that, the portal is on the ground, and it's time to chase. Arthas is a bit low, so he moves away. Yeah, even a potential kill. Nope, just kidding again. Arunas is sick. Arunas is seriously having an insane game here. Like, he just doesn't let anyone die. They're just fucking everyone up right now. And Arunas on his Medivh, like, this is 100% going to be a Medivh bandit going into game number 2. There is 0 chance that this Medivh is not getting banned out. I mean, he literally saved everybody. Power Surge coming from Alarak to get a kill. Nope, there's a shield. Someone not able to move out because they're slowed by an earthquake or by anything else? Well, have a portal, my friend. Opponent is trying to run away. You kidding me? You are not running away from this. You are dying because there's another portal right for you, in your face. Have fun with that, and goodbye. GG, Nori, well played. They have the 20, they take the camps, they're going for the objective, the keep is down. Top lane, by the way, has also gotten sick value throughout all of this. I mean, they went nearly through the entire lane. The keep is about to fall here too. Now the Protector is coming in, and this is just absolutely crazy. Let's look at the numbers here. 61,000 damage by Medivh. 61k by him. And they're going straight here for Arthas. Arthas just walks this down alone, basically, at this point. Here comes again another ley line, hitting everybody, by the way. With the exception of Mal'Ganis, who gets isolated here. Once again, they go for Arthas. Army is already out. They get the kill against Thrall. That's the first thing that happens. Mal'Ganis is just zipping around. I think he is honestly having a little bit of an episode here, because that guy just doesn't stand still for a moment. Alarak is also dead, and Mal'Ganis is just like running around, screaming, yelling, trying to hit things, surviving for much longer than the rest of his team, but he's still not having any impact here. And that is going to be game. I mean, they're just looking at the last and final kill, and that is going to be Zebo. He never made it to level 20, and this is it. 17 kills against 0. And that was fantastic play from the Fedoras. Really enjoyable to watch. Very cool to see the synergy here, and well played. And a big shout out especially to Arunas, who had a fantastic game here. Infernal Shrines! How much you want to bet that Medivh is going to be banned out by trust issues now? How much you want to bet on that? There is no... And there we go. Insta. It's like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, no. This is not happening. Not again. Brutal. It was a great performance by him. So yeah, Medivh, the Insta respect ban, and it's well deserved. Very well deserved. So how are the Fedoras reacting to it though? Again, the Diablo ban. Now we had the tanks prioritized in the previous draft. And we see Maiev. I'm already afraid of what happens when you give Arunas Genji, so I'm not sure if we're going to get Genji for one of the teams. The first pick goes, of course, to trust issues. So Fedoras could ban it out. No, Garrosh. Double tank ban from them again. What's the first pick? Are we going to see an early commitment to TYRANDE again? Are they falling into that I don't want to call it the Mal'Ganis trap, but honestly, on the higher level, I haven't really seen Mal'Ganis have as much of an impact. He's not... It's not like he doesn't have anything to offer. No, by no means. But it feels like the higher division teams, the higher skill teams, know much better how to counter him. Like, there's always a lot of bursts onto him. It's very targeted, and he doesn't usually get as much value over here. He can definitely be good, but I'm starting to really question if it's worth picking him in a first pick slot in these setups. Alex Straza on the map gets, of course, a lot of value. So with that, we are now having Alex and Johanna picked very early on Infernal Shrines. Dragon Queen is fantastic for the setup here. Whenever you want to confirm a shrine, secure it for yourself, and you are maybe already in the lead, for example, with like 20 minions, that's normally a good time to use Dragon Queen. And Johanna has worked out for them already fairly well, has the added wave clear on the map now too. That helps for the objective, it helps for the lane. But here comes the TYRANDE and Sonya. So spin to win on the shrine, having Mal'Ganis in the main tank position again. TYRANDE for the follow-up. It's a little bit of a weird, I'm not quite sure weird, but I don't know, whenever I see TYRANDE, it feels weird with the Mal'Ganis as the follow-up. Like, I don't know why, but that sleep that he has as a setup isn't really too bad, but it's just one of these things where I always expect the initial stun to come out from like a Muradin or something, or like anyone else. It's, I could have totally seen them go into a different healer here, but TYRANDE is offering quite a bit, especially if they add burst damage to it, and I think Jaina would be a good addition to either one of the two teams right now. If anything, if I'm trust issues, I'm probably a little bit worried that the Fedoras are going to pick her for themselves. Especially with Khaldor now being banned out, who adds a lot of the wave, or who normally adds a lot of the wave. Yeah. Tigers and Alarak, apparently trying to give them a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Okay, Tigers coming in. We have Dragon Queen plus Odin. That's actually scary as hell. Ooh, Zeratul Lunara with a TYRANDE as the only heal. I'm always skeptical when I see a Lunara in that position. And a RAGNAROS as well for the offlane. Ooh, boys. Molten Core, Alex Straza with the Dragon Queen, and Tychus with Odin. Things are firing up here. Game number 2, the Fedoras with an impressive game 1. Let's see if trust issues can force a third map here. Game number 2, the Fedoras against the trust issues, and to the left side of the map, Tychus, played by Rooney, Bread Bucket on RAGNAROS, Arunas on Alarak, get ready for that, having him on level 1 actually with a sustaining power, apparently not quite trusting Alex Straza here, Mango on another hero, we have Mist playing Johanna. And at the same time, now moving over to the right team, or the red team, we're seeing Royal Thoil on Zeratul, Nerf on Sonya, Light on TYRANDE, Sonic Gold on Mal'Ganis again, and Red Dragon on Lunara. And personally, I am very, very curious about Red Dragon's Lunara, because, I don't know, I'm always skeptical when I see a Lunara. She can be exploited pretty easily, and I'm a little bit afraid for her, considering that there's a lot of damage out there. Now keep in mind, when it comes to objectives, we're having a lot of tools that can be used by the blue team to get the objective. They have a Dragon Queen, they're gonna have an Odin later on, and on top of that they have also Molten Core by RAGNAROS. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty tricky, I feel like. It's gonna be rough. Good rotation here also. Like a 4-man rotation immediately, and you can already tell that Trust Issues are not really quite trusting their skills to meet the rotation right now. They are not following that in any way for the time being. So I was pretty impressed by Fedoras, not gonna lie. I'm gonna look towards Arunas and see how much he can do with Alarak, if he can land those combos later on. But yeah, a little bit more of a hesitant start into the game by the Trust Issues, simply because they need to be a little bit calmer here. Winning this is not going to be easy for them by any means. The Fedoras have so far played a fantastic series. Can they do that without their Medivh though? That's one of the big questions. Insta-ban against him, I mean, duh, didn't see that coming, right? So, we'll see. For now, not really too much happening here. I don't think we're going to see too much kill potential unless Arunas gets close enough to either TYRANDE or Lunara. Which I kind of doubt. 16, of course, would be later great for Royal Foil when he gets his Void Slash. But for the time being, he's playing it also a little bit safer. I mean, the battle between the top laners is so far going pretty well for Sonya. Actually able to get a lot of the hit points away from RAGNAROS here. I'm a bit curious to see about the level 10. I wouldn't really mind Lava Wave on this map, because depending on how the objective spawns, you actually get some value out of it. I'm more so a fan when you use it when you also have a global that you can use on the same time to just like push this wave out even more. But if you think about it, there is a lot that it can do with the Sulfura Smash here too. You have a Blessed Shield that it can follow up on, and you have on top of that also an Alarak combo. Nice! Arunas are like, if you're Zeratul, this is the moment when you nearly shit your pants. You're sitting there and he hits just next to you, and you see that. That is when, yeah, you're like, boys, like, I think I peed myself a little bit. Can we break? Because, like, I need a new pair of pants. Like, this is not going well for me. Arunas with the insane combo there again. In the sense that he's trying to go for, like, he's going for a bit of a blind combo, right? So it was a nice prediction shot from him, and he barely missed too, so that can be scary. The bigger they are taken to burn down Melganis at the front, so that usually helps to get some damage in and drop him low early on. But now the Shrine has started up, and that's at the top side for the time being. So let's see who gets Punisher number 1. Would actually give the blue team a bit of an advantage here. And again, Dragon Queen, Molten Core. Can you really lose an objective if you're fighting on even talents? I don't think so. And the red team basically says, yeah, this is a little bit unlikely. So they have a pretty big push happening down at the bottom of the map. They're gonna get through the gate here. And of course, we are having our Fedoras immediately rotating against it, right? And they need to. Nerf might have stayed a little bit too long in the middle and might pay for this with his life. He might just get away from it, actually. And yes, he will escape. The rotation from them is late, but it happens. The wall, on the other hand, is gone. So that was a nice move from Trust Issues. I really like that. The early Punisher is not going to give you as much value right away. So this is a pretty cool move to go in and say, hey, we're going to take some value down at the bottom of the map, and we're going to out-rotate them. We're going to give up the objective, but we're going to get some structural damage in as a result. And they're doing really well around that. So far, the rotation was great. Punisher's now going to move in, so as long as they bait it over and burn it down quickly, they should actually get out ahead when it comes to structural damage, or at least even it out. So given that in the early game they might not have the strongest compositions and wait for a lot of the good talents to come online, it was a pretty cool move. Especially going up against Dragon Queen and Molten Core. You know it's going to be rough for you to take these objectives. You know that from the start. That draft is scary that the Fedoras have. So, very nice move from Trust Issues. Look at it. Not a lot of value. Compare the structural damage, and Trust Issues got out of this ahead. Well done. Good rotation, catching also the Fedoras a little bit off guard here, but well done for sure. So with that early setup, we are heading slowly into level 10 abilities, and this is when we can see a little bit more. I mean, level 7 for Lunara gives her already the added AoE with the Splintered Spear. Hugely important to have also the Celestial Attunement now in this particular lineup when you go up against that. And no kill just yet. Both of the teams playing this a lot safer right now. Especially, of course, for the trust issues. A lot hinges on this one. If they lose here, then the series is over. But they would, in an ideal world, love to force that third game out of their opponent. Especially after you're getting wrecked with 17 kills to 0 on the first map. That's quite a bit you have to redeem yourself for. Even if, granted, you're going up against an opponent who's playing very well here. For now, more camps are taken from both teams. Timing a bit early for the Shaman camp, not really getting that together with the objective, but trying to make Sonya's life a little bit easier here, and she should be able to get some structural damage in, unless we have a rotation happening. Talking rotations down here, Johanna still doing her thing. Very little impressed here from anything that Mal'Ganis throws at her for now. Mal'Ganis on the 7, Will of Tichondrius for him. It's all about additional heal. It's really just like, first of all, it's like the health that you're trying to get, but also with this now trying to just have the sustain that allows you in those fights later to really just keep going. But the problem is it hasn't really worked out in the first game for them, but let's see if this one is going to be a little bit different. As long as you're not hit by these stuns and quick bursts, good Mal'Ganis player can stay alive for a long, long time. Lava Wave is chosen, so they can play around that a bit and offset the balance when there is a fight over an objective. Blessed Shield as expected, obviously Odin, yeah, so Dragon Queen Odin and Molten Core now already. And only Lunara is still waiting. Lava Wave comes through the top. Sonya is still going to try to take at least one of the waves down. Waits this out. Is going to try and take that wave down to alleviate a little bit of the pressure. And Tychus is also moving away. Interesting enough, trying to go for... Okay, the rest of the team comes to us. So for a second, wait a second. Tychus solo climb? What? What are you doing? Yeah, there's no shrine active just yet, but here we go. Personally, I would have really liked if they would have used the lava wave together with the objective, and they didn't. But this might actually be a problem. Oh, that's unfortunate. Unlikely that they would have gotten the kill, but if you already go into the sleep mode, then you should make sure that TYRANDE knows it's coming so that she can actually land that stun afterwards. But yeah, so I would have really liked for RAGNAROS to hold his ult and just use it now, for example, because that would give this camp a little bit more value and would put Nerf into a position where he has to abandon the bottom even more. But Trust Issues are playing the same style again. They're just saying, guys, we cannot win that fight. It's gonna be too tough for us. They have Royal Foil down there, but everybody else is pushing the top again. So the same game. Playing the same game right now. A bit of a counter push attempt now from the Fedoras. It's a really strategic game that we're seeing right now. And it's actually pretty cool. You don't see that too much in the lower divisions because that's mostly about brawling. You are not really willing to give up too much. Macro rotations are not really happening too often. But you can really see how much value they get out of this. Brad Bucket has to be really careful too, because he would probably think about getting a Molten Core in if he could save it, but he would be interrupted right away. Everybody was waiting for him to start the channel, and then he's down. So this is already 1/4 taken, and of course the bottom is going to fall too, but it's the entire time just going for trades, right? Try and hit the late game when Zeratul is going to do more damage, and then take the fights, but maybe even outside of the shrine if you can, outside of the range of a Molten Core, or get some isolated kills. Not a single kill just yet. I'm really, really liking the way that both of them are very well aware of their power spikes and very aware of where they can get value. Lava Wave through the top lane is going to give a little bit more pressure onto that. Nicely baited over. And now that one is gone. Oh, the 4-man! The 4-man. Do they have a follow-up? I don't think so. Ah, they poke a bit with Lunara, but they can't get too much done. There's no burst damage follow-up to it. But the 4-man Void Prison allowed to easily take down the Punisher. But yeah, this is the moment where as a Zeratul player, you're just sitting here. First of all, you're hating your life that you're not level 16 yet, so that you can actually get a Void Slash in. And the second thing that you hate is that your team doesn't run any massive burst damage that they can follow up on it. You're just sitting there. It honestly makes you just sad. You get a fantastic Void Prison, you just become a sad panda because you realize, yes, while it might offer some utility, there's no follow-up on it. Talking damage though, down here, Felclaw's being used, Mal'Ganis fighting. In comes Zeratul. TYRANDE needs to be careful. She got completely split. Fedoras were able to drive a bit of a wedge between the two teams here. But yeah. Still not a single kill in this game. Not one. And as much as I like kill-heavy games after all the Division 7 and 6 brawling that we had, I'm actually very happy that we have a game that focuses a bit more on macro strategy than anything else, because it really shows you also how you can, with good rotations, offset the strength of your opponent. Again, you imagine that game with trust issues going into every single shrine fight, they would be destroyed. They would get no value, they would not win the Punisher, because they just can't against the things that we pointed out earlier, Dragon Queen, Odin, Molten Core. Very likely they might lose heroes in those fights as well, and even if they didn't, they would then only be defending, but instead they're rotating and playing out to their own strength. And they're playing towards the late stage where they feel, hey, that's where we can maybe make a difference here. We're also having the Greater Spell Shield now for Lunara on level 13, we're having Zeratul preparing, and you look at the setup, and despite the fact that the objective was now won 2 times by Donna or Fedoras, they are not ahead. They have lost the fort at the top, they've taken one at the bottom. They have taken no kills, not suffered any either. And here comes now aggression, Void Prison again being used, everybody's rotating in. Ragnaros is missing, they're trying to go for it, and they try to go for Alarak, and Arunas might fall here. They're going in deep for him, and they take him down. He gets the combo off towards the end, but it's not enough. Gets the quest completed here. But that's the first kill of the game. And now, of course, they have to try and capitalize on it. And what does that look like? You don't have a lot of camps to take. They could invade here. That's one thing that they could do, and actually they're looking for it. But decide to go for the shrine instead. I would have liked an invade here, but instead they're moving bot lane because they're saying, hey, we can get another fort here. And that is the one thing they get out of the kill. They get one kill, and then they immediately look on the map and they're like, okay, what do we have? Only one camp on the map. Yes, we could get it. How much value does that camp give us? Probably not enough. Let's rotate bot lane instead and take the fort that lets catapult spawn, and we have a superior position. And then they focus on the shrine. Really good decision making. And they have a head start now. One of the reasons why they actually go for it, they have a head start and they have 16. Now they want to fight. They know that they have to fight eventually. So they're choosing this one. It's an Arcane Punisher too, and they take the early lead on the stacks. But of course now Lava Wave at the bot lane. Top lane the Shaman Camp. Good setup for the Fedoras. Here comes Odin. No Dragon Queen just yet. Combo against Sonya. But here comes Mal'Ganis, moving in, moving out. Fellclaws always for the reposition. Stuns coming again from Light on his Tirana. They're trying to wait Odin out a little bit. Top lane heavily pressured by the camp. Might lose even that particular fort. But the fight's not over just yet. 33 stacks. They're just focusing on the stacks. They're not going for the team fight. They're sitting at 35. Very likely they're going to get it. Here comes the Molten Core, as predicted. They still have a Dragon Queen, but the stacks are taken. And here comes the immediate move again with, first of all, Alex Straza, but also the Void Prison and the kill against Sonya. 39. Can they get one? They need one, and they take it. Arcane Punisher, but the combo from Arunas. The combo hits, and it hits hard. Down goes TYRANDE. She falls. They're trying to get more. Everybody moves away. 2 kills, but the Punisher has been claimed. Top fort has been eliminated by the camp. Again, it's Zeratul. He gets silenced, and bam, there goes Ragnaros. The hammer to the face, and another kill secured. 3 down. Lunara is taking the top now. Entire level lead at this point. Entire level ahead. And that, of course, hurts, and it hurts a lot. You win the Punisher, but you can't just win the fight yet. Again, it propels the game a little bit farther forward, but this bad boy isn't going to do too much. Could have maybe played it a little bit differently, especially Zeratul. I don't think really had to die there, but it shows the power that we're seeing from the Fedoras on the shrine. Molten Core, Dragon Queen, and Odin. It's just too much for them to handle right now. Still, 3 kills against 1, level difference. Not out of the game just yet though. But the Fedoras are of course like super powerful right now. Lava Wave. Off cooldown, immediately used again. Top lane is what they're focusing on. Look at the damage output alone. It's like 18,000 on Alarak again. Runas is the one that died on their team, but he still brings the damage. Now Lunara is of course poking and prodding the entire time as much as he can. Trying to keep them low here. But we're also having at the same time Tigers burning through that front line with the bigger they are. Again, here's the attack. They're trying to go in. Zeratul once more. No Void Prison just yet. They're focusing on Ragnaros, and Ragnaros falls. But so does Zeratul. Arunas taking him down with his Alarak. The fight is not over by a long shot though. Rooney is in a lot of trouble and gets poked down with the damage, but it is Johanna that falls first. 2 kills for trust issues. They might have a couple of trust issues in the long run, but they're definitely trusting each other. They're doing a great job with that. Now we have 1-for-2 trade, and they can focus on deep pushing the lanes again, and that will also help them to close that experience gap a bit. If you hit level 20 around the next objective, that's where the big fight is going to happen then. Once more, really well played by them here. Pushing this out, but even with only 3 heroes, they're willing to at least see if there's maybe only one taking the camp here. Well, Fedoras is playing this a bit cheeky. They're saying, hey, if they play greedy, if they have only 1 hero at the top trying to take the camp, we go in with 3, we take him down, and we stagger death. Can't quite pull that off, but we're seeing both of them getting way closer now to 20. Of course, 20 is also going to have a huge power spike for Donna or Fedoras. I mean, RAGNAROS alone is going to be pretty sick on that. But then again, you have Sonya being so much more tanky. That alone is great for them. It's not only going to be Mal'Ganis at the front, you're going to have Sonya, who's much tougher to take down. A lot of survivability for her, of course, too. Went into a bit of a different build than the focus on the Whirlwind that we've seen so far. Instead, we have Battle Rage taken. Can heal there too. Shot of Fury has also been claimed. But yeah, the 20s are going to be ready for both of the teams as the next Shrine spawns. Which is, by the way, going to be topside. But there's another attempted snipe, at least taking the fountain down. Camp taken, and there's the 20s. RAGNAROS with a lava surge now. It's going to be great. Already using the first one bot lane, so they're really trying to just focus on the lane that is the farthest away from the shrine that just spawned. Indestructible for Janna, big red button. It is a death zone up here now. And this is going to be the big one. And even more damage coming from Lunara, of course, now. With those additional stacks. TYRANDE with the Ice Blade arrows as well. Attack speed, damage reduction. Starting to go in for the fight here. And who's going to take it? Trust issues are looking for the kill. Zeratul is looking for the Void Prison. Goes in, slashes away. Needs to be really careful. The heals from TYRANDE are going to be tough for them. And Tychus is already on the point. Tychus is on the shrine, but they're trying to force the battle right now. Tychus is there. Are they going to go for the big red button right here? Void Prison in the back. Molten Core, but it might be a little bit too late. That could be the kill, and it is. Tychus goes down. Tychus is down. Mist is in trouble. The lava wave comes in. Johanna, indestructible, is procced already, but Sonya went a little bit too deep. The swing. The swing. The bait into the Molten Core, and down goes Lunara. Zeratul is dead as well. That's the damage right there. They went too deep, and they pay the price. Mal'Ganis moves away, and so does TYRANDE, but this is a 1-for-3 trade. They went too deep into the Molten Core, and then Bread Bucket with a swing is able to stun out 3. They get the kill against especially Lunara, who's leading the damage numbers on their end with 39,000, and that's another Punisher in the hands of the Fedoras. Trust issues felt pressured. They get the kill against Tychus, and it was an important one, but then they just get a little bit too greedy, trying to somehow burn it down in time and splitting, but they couldn't really sustain themselves through there. It was close though. It wasn't as one-sided as you would think, especially after Tychus goes down. Might have been able to back off a little bit, but it's definitely tough, no doubt about it. You could see, though, how the Indestructible just barely saved Johanna there. If she dies too, if they are able to follow it up with a bit more damage over time, then the second kill would have been huge. But now it's another Punisher. 5 versus 5 defense that we're having right now. Punisher towards the top is going to move in, and that's a Mortar Punisher. Should drop the keep, but can they go for core? There's no Molten Core here right now. That's a big cooldown that got burned, and those 2 minutes aren't over yet. But most of the heroics are coming back. They're already back to business for trust issues, and they're soon going to be ready for the team in blue. Especially, of course, that lava wave again. Already, Proc moved away, baited into the middle, immediately trying to burn that down. Good job so far on the side of trust issues. Trying to burn it down as quickly as he can. And Red Dragon, so far impressing me, by the way, with his Lunara, getting a lot of damage in. Not really being as much pressure as I thought. Good Void Prison here against the backline, trying to isolate some of the heroes, but that keep is going to go down. Keep is down, but so is the Punisher. Here comes the big red button. Can they kill someone? They go for Sonya. She gets saved for now, but how deep are they going? Fedoras on the way back. Zeratul goes in with another slash. Can they actually stop this? There's another quick hit, and as long as those poisons come out, you can actually start with the slow a little bit, and maybe follow that up. But they're not going in yet. There's a lot of heroic abilities that got used on their end, so they're stopping it for now. So keep down. Massive wave, by the way, at the bot lane. That's definitely going to do some damage to the wall. But I would be surprised if the Fedoras aren't going to be there in time to to simply just like, yeah, defend it. A tower might go, maybe they're gonna get a bit more, the wall, the gate, but that's gonna be about it. So yeah, get some damage in, but it's not gonna be enough. It's still time to fight for another day, but now the top lane is a massive problem. With Lava Wave being able to use twice and those catapults pushing through already and making it really a one-sided story, their Lava Wave is going to have a massive macro advantage, or it's going to give a massive macro advantage to the Fedoras. Because once that the next shrine phase starts, this is what they're going to do. Just like spam out that Lava Wave topside and force catapults onto the core. And of course that's something that the red team is extremely aware of. Like right now you have to push this out. You can't just let this pushed in already. This is a wave that you have to push out, but that also means you have to allocate resources towards the top, and your opponent is immediately going to focus bot side. Because on the bottom of the map we have seen similar picture, the keep is already damaged. So there's one big team fight that's going to be coming, and it is the last one for trust issues. If they don't win it, then it is likely going to be over. It's likely going to be lights out. So you have to win the next big team fight. And yeah, 7 kills against 4. Was a good one. Oh, the invade at the top, trying to get the camp here. Everybody's ready. Is close quarter call. I'm not quite sure if that's really the play. A good Void Prison in the back might really isolate them here. The silence, Runas with a combo, the follow-up damage. Down is Zeratul. We see the kill against Alarak, but who's going to take this? The kill against Alarak. Sonya is still alive. Once again, big red button being used. Nerf is on the way back down. Here comes the Dragon Queen. That's a ton of big cooldowns being burned. We're having Molten Core being used up here. They claim the camp, but they can't get another kill here. The Lava Wave comes through too. Massive cooldowns burned. Massive amount of cooldowns. No doubt about it. Top lane, heavily pressured. Bottom lane, keep taking even more damage. They take the catapult down, but now they have to deal with that camp. And there is another shrine activating in a couple of seconds. They need to go topside. They need to take the catapult down. They need to take the shaman camp. Everybody else already working on another camp, top left, to put more pressure onto the top lane for the reasons mentioned earlier. Runas, Honest, Alarak and Zeratul are going to be back soon, and then we're looking at that last fight again. But we have Molten Core on cooldown. We have Odin still on cooldown. That's big cooldowns that they used in that last battle. Dragon Queen has been used too. There is definitely a chance right now for the red team to win the fight that they need to win here. They're already going for Ragnaros, trying to get some additional damage in, get the stacks. They're on the point. And they're starting to take the lead here. This is the moment. All this poison coming from Lunara. She gets blinded for a second, but they're getting the Thornwood Mines through. Top lane is pressuring. Bot lane is where we're seeing the Lava Wave. And they're trying to win this. They know this is the one they have to fight. Even if they lose some points on the core, if they don't win it here, it's over. Great combo again from Alarak. Dragon Queen is already back up to business. And we have Odin also just ready as we speak. This is brutal for the trust issues. Here come the Fedoras. They're going in deep, and they take down Lunara. They might get Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis tries to move away here. Void Prison is in. Core under attack on the right side. Another slash, another attempt to take down Mist, but he should have his indestructible up, and that's the kill against Sonya. 2 down already. The rest running. The Punisher about to be taken. They go for another kill, and they get Zeratul. He's down. The shields are gone. Catapults on the core. Bottom keep has fallen as well. And we are seeing them being chased all across the map. The draft a bit too strong for the Fedoras. The coordination too. Dragon Queen, Odin, Molten Core, everything ready. Runas on Alarak. They're going for TYRANDE. She completes his quest even on level 4, but still, that's the end of her. She dies. Mal'Ganis will fall too. He joins the fun. 36% on the core, and with a fantastic game. Very strategic. We're seeing the Fedoras take the victory against the trust issues with a 2-0. Great game. Division 1 Heroes launch. And very well done by both teams here with the Fedoras taking the victory.